At an annual checkup, the doctor compares your health signs to the normal state of a healthy person of your age, gender, and build to see if there are any signs of illness. Similarly, when rating rangeland health, we consult the local range plant community guides that will confirm the signs of healthy rangeland. Range plant community guides have been developed for all grazing areas of the province from thousands of range vegetation survey records and range reference area data. These classification documents provide a description of the major range plant communities found in your area, describing both the potential plant communities for the site as well as those that develop with different levels of disturbance, say with light to moderate to heavy grazing. These documents are produced and maintained by Alberta Environment and Parks and are easy to find on the web. Just Google Alberta Rangeland Health and you will find them. Range plant communities in the prairies and parkland regions are defined for each major soil or range site type, which are named by very recognizable qualities like loamy, blowout, badlands, sub-irrigated, and so on. There are 14 possible upland range sites. Each range site in the guide will have one or more reference plant communities, which define site potential under light grazing disturbance, plus additional successional communities that reflect additional levels of grazing disturbance like moderate, heavy, and very heavy. The guide may also capture modified plant communities where non-native species have become dominant. So range plant community guides are a reference to ensure that each unit of rangeland is evaluated appropriately based on its site potential. Once the appropriate plant community is identified, detailed information is available to apply the health indicators, including dominant plant species, plant community structure, expected bare soil, and ground cover. A recommended ecologically sustainable stocking rate is also provided for each community. In this video, we highlight a number of major plant communities in the northern Fescue natural subregion and the central Parkland natural region. The northern Fescue is the most northerly portion of the grassland natural region. As such, its climate is colder and more continental than the balance of the grassland natural region, yet still too relatively arid to permit establishment of much forest cover beyond small pockets adjoining streams and wetlands. Long-term annual precipitation averages 383 millimeters of annual precipitation, ranging from a low of 367 and a high of 410 millimeters. About 25% of the original area remains as native plant communities. The dominant loamy plant communities of the northern Fescue are very different from the drier prairie environment. In this zone of transition from prairie to parkland, a much taller midgrass community results, with plains rough fescue, western porcupine grass, and several wheatgrasses establishing a deep, productive cover. Typical communities have taller structure than in the prairie and sustain significantly higher amounts of litter. Western snowberry will also be present on loamy sites in areas of overflow and winter snow catchment. On drier, sandy, and sand range sites, rough fescue is normally less abundant, and wheatgrasses and sandgrass will be co-dominant with rough fescue. The northern Fescue includes significant tracts of blowout range sites where solonetzik or hardpan soils limit productivity. Wheatgrasses will be more dominant in the blowout landscape. The central parkland is a vast area defined by black grassland soils and a natural region significantly altered to cultivated agriculture with less than 10% of the original native vegetation remaining. The predominant native vegetation is strongly associated with undulating to strongly rolling topography derived from glacial till. This knob and kettle type topography results in diverse, strongly contrasting vegetation patterns that are repeated on the landscape, including pothole wetlands, prairie-like grasslands, or dry south-facing slopes, parkland grasses on moister slopes, and deciduous forest cover on north-facing slopes. Annual precipitation averages 441 millimeters. Loamy soils predominate in the central parkland. Dry south-facing grasslands display a mixed grass character with needle and thread grass, western porcupine grass, low sedges, and June grass. Moister grasslands on cooler slopes are dominated by plains rough fescue, western porcupine grass, and wheatgrasses. This complex parkland landscape supports diverse tree and shrub communities also, especially willow communities adjoining wetlands and aspen forest on north-facing slopes. Parkland grasslands are strongly influenced by invasive agronomic species, including Kentucky bluegrass and smooth brome grass. In the Wainwright area, there's a significant area of native parkland vegetation developed on sand and choppy sand hill range sites. These drier parkland soils typically support grasslands dominated by rough fescue, sandgrass, and sedges, with ground juniper acting as a significant stabilizer of dune landscapes. Dune landscapes are also rich in a patchwork of shrub communities including chokecherry and Saskatoon. So range health assessment is not a one-size-fits-all approach. An important step is to understand the potential of the site being assessed, to understand the local climate, and soils that give rise to plant community being evaluated. Range plant community guides provide a useful foundation for accurate and consistent assessment of rangeland health.